and welcome. It's certainly been a long time this time. I keep saying this on the videos I'm doing of late. However, as I explained, with work, and there's an awful lot of work to be done, or has been done on the house, and things like painting the windows and getting the garden into shape, and quite a few other little odd jobs that needed doing. And I don't get the time off that I used to, as I explained before, because my work pattern has altered quite considerably. So I don't spend the time in the shop that I'd like to. I thought I'd better put a video up just to let all my subscribers know that I'm still here. I'd also like to thank my subscribers. I'm absolutely amazed at the amount of people that find interest in what I have to offer. I've said this before, but it's still very true, and I thank you very, very much indeed. I'd like to make a shout out to a guy called Furtado. Albert is a passionate wood turner. That's the only word I can use, passionate. He absolutely oozes his passion for the craft in his videos. And over the last sort of 12 months I've been watching his channel, he's really starting to develop, and he's a pleasure to watch, he really is. But, I urge you to go across to Albert's channel, and I'll put a link in the description down below, and support him and subscribe to his channel. What today's video is going to be about is some of the jigs I've been making in the sort of the little time I've had in the shop, in preparation for segmented turning, which is something I haven't done apart from a few staved goblets. And I've been inspired by guys like Stephen Ogle. Number one comes to mind immediately. Stephen is absolutely brilliant at it. Eric Anderson and many others who excel at the art of segmented turning. I have no intention of doing an 800 piece bowl or an 800 piece vase, but it intrigues me, and to be able to do segmented turning properly you need your angles correctly to get a good glue up. So all this is in preparation for the time I am able to start it, that I've got the necessary kit made to help me on my journey. So I thought I'd just go around the shop basically and show you a few things that I've made, and not pretending to have reinvented the wheel. This is all through many hours over the years looking at YouTube and getting ideas here and there. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes down to things like jigs. As long as they work, I'm happy. They might not look pretty. I'll use all the scraps I can to make them, and that in itself gives me quite a bit of joy that I don't have to go out and buy a shop built something if I can make it myself. So I'll start over in the corner with the old table saw, strange, and we'll go around and hopefully you find it interesting and pick up a few tips, and hopefully it'll also generate a few comments and give me some more ideas. So we'll go over there now. I'll set the camera up and come along with me. Okay, so one of the first things I did was a zero clearance insert, which is something I've never made before because I've never had a half decent table saw. Not easy because as you can see there, hopefully, it has a really strange profile there. It has a cutout, etc. But I got around it, made a couple, and they are brilliant when you're doing small, narrow pieces, because obviously then it doesn't get sucked into the saw and all sort of problems can happen. So that again was inspired by various videos, too many people to mention regarding who I copied. The other thing, although this table saw does have a let's put that back in, although this table saw does have a sliding function here for miter cuts, which I do use, if you're doing small pieces and repetitive pieces, a crosscut sled. Now there are umpteen number of different videos. I will put a load of links in the description to various jigs that are made by people who really know what they're doing, and I've drawn from several videos, I suppose, to bodge together my own model. This is just basically 3/4 ply. I won't go through all the various methods of producing this because, as I say, people who know what they're talking about do it much more adequately than I can. It's very strong, it's very stable, 2 runners underneath. I use softwood on this particular occasion, and it's working very well indeed, and it's certainly a lot safer when you're doing repetitive cuts. You can put a stop lock up to get the exact dimensions each time. Great bit of kit, very pleased with that. The other one, now this was inspired by my friend Stephen Ogle, who excels in segmented turning. Stephen's got a very good video up on how he made his, so again I will not attempt to explain how I built it. Again, it's basically 3/4 ply. I think Steve used a particle board. However, I've copied Stephen's method, and it works extremely well. Something I'm working on, but I haven't actually made a proper one yet, is a jig which will allow me to square stock. Basically, I was watching a video on from Jay Bates, and again, as I say, I'll put a link to Jay's channel to this particular build. This is just a real experiment, this size, but especially for doing segmenting and with my goblets when I'm doing, I'm not able to put it the right way around, when I'm doing stave goblets, etc. I haven't got a jointer, I haven't got a thicknesser. I've got real no way of squaring stock apart from a lot of sanding, which is really not a very clever way to do things. Very, very arduous and time consuming. Now this jig actually fits against the fence. I'm going to be building one, I think, with a runner. It works extremely well. Say I wanted to joint that end to get that square, because you can't put anything against the fence unless you have a square face. So you need a point of reference. So let's just say this isn't square, which I'm sure it isn't. You put a bit of wood behind here to give it a good lockdown. Put a spacer under there so that these lock down. Now that wood is not going anywhere. So then you decide, the reason I want to put a runner on the main one I'm going to be doing is because then I can zero clearance, I'll make it slightly oversized, run it through, then I know that it's the face is square to the blade and to the runner. This way it's the fence, so it's a zero clearance on the fence. So you have to bring your blade up and then set your fence so that your main body is not actually touching the blade, and then you will run that through. I'll just put this on and show you what I mean. I won't put the dust extraction on. So I'm going to joint this side now. You've got a solid piece to run against the fence. You turn on the saw. I can now reference that side against the fence. Now that gives me 2 parallel sides. I will trim that up. Of course, we're assuming here that the faces are flat to get the stock. At least I've got these 2 sides. Now the other thing with this, this jig, which is why I'm going to be modifying it slightly, the other thing with this jig is that when I do the final one, well, I could do it on here even, I'm going to set it up in such a way where I could actually, for small stock, I could true up the face as well. And once the face is trued up, then I can run that through as a reference, and I've got a perfectly parallel piece of stock. Now this helps in doing staged work, and it also will help when I'm doing segmenting. The other thing that which I made again is a thin rip jig. This was inspired by again looking on YouTube videos. Rockler do one which is a magnetic one, but unfortunately this is not cast, and I made one for the bandsaw as well, similar. So if I want to do a lot of thin ripping, okay, obviously before the blade hits your piece, tighten down, just kiss the wood so the wood passes through freely, and then run tighten down and okay, so we've got one strip there now. Now we want another strip, the same size. You bring the fence up, leave the jig in place, bring the fence up very lightly, tighten down, and so on. And as you can see there, hopefully you've got two strips there which are identical, and you can run that through. Okay, now the other little things are just a couple of push sticks, which again were inspired by looking at a video by John Heiss. Thank you for that, John. You can do whatever thicknesses you like for thin stock, thick stock, and also a couple of push pads which are really good, and all I've done there, it's 3/4 inch ply, made the handle to the form of a saw that I've got, which is nice and comfortable and gives me good downward pressure, and stuck on some old mouse pad. This particular spongy one is useless as a mouse pad, but very good for these, and I use double-sided stick tape for the bandsaw, and the same idea. Slides up and down the channel, and you can put it. It's especially good with a bandsaw because it does in actual fact give you very consistent results for a bandsaw. And then this has got the bearing, but obviously I can't use very small stock on this. I'm working on that again with the bits and pieces I've got available to me. And again, you tighten this. These are great. Originally I got some star knobs, and then I watched one of Jay Bates's videos, and as you can see there, it's just a square knob cut out of plywood and a T-nut banged in there, and that is what these are. So then you can make as many of these knobs as you like for very, very little money. You can use scraps, use what you like. Brilliant idea. Thank you, Jay. To the drill press, made a little table. The fence I use very rarely, so I didn't do a lot of fixing on the fence. I just made a fence that is 90 degrees. Again, 3/4 inch ply. I had to raise from the plate because of the handle at the back, so I've raised it up by about 1.5 inches. Attach this. There's a sacrificial insert, just a 2-inch force and a bit, or 2.5-inch force and a bit, whatever, and then turned a load of these discs down on the lathe, and you just take them out and put in for when you're drilling, so you don't get any tear out on the other side. So again, a handy little addition there, but it all takes time. and you know, I just clamp that down if I need a fence for repetitive drilling, and that's fine. Also, I did a thing on Facebook where I actually said that I spent quite a lot of time clearing out my shop with regards to stuff that was on display or on shelves, etc., that I hardly ever, if ever, used. And things have got a lot tidier now, and I know where everything is. Or I know where everything is that's out. All the stuff that I put away in plastic boxes, God knows what it is. Most useful things that I've done is a place for my chucks to go. But all it is, I was watching a video from Miguel Sanchez, and I noticed in the background he had something similar to this with his chucks on, and I thought that's a great idea. So it's 45-degree angles, and then just screwed to each other and the wall. Turn a dowel, I mean we are turners at the end of the day, turn a dowel to the internal diameter of the threads, and it just slots on the top. And it keeps it nice and safe, and your chucks are easily obtainable. Another piece of kit which I found very, very handy, especially now that my very cheap belt sander, disc sander, has given up the ghost. A piece of hardwood, 12 inches, screwed a large faceplate to the back because I don't use this very well, I don't use it at all now, and sticky Velcro disc that's 12 inches, and the discs are removable. That screws onto your spindle, tighten the grub screws down so that it doesn't fly off, and then I just made a table, fits on the banjo, and then I have a ready-made disc sander, and I just put that down, tighten that down, and I have a ready-made disc sander which is very effective. Alan Stratton was the inspiration for that one, and thank you for that. He's actually made my own point tool. This was an old gouge that I had. I turned a new handle for it, and I cut it off, so a round bar. Now I need to get three angles on there. How do I do that? Well, I came up with that by looking on YouTube. Basically an equilateral triangle, all at 60 degrees. Drill a hole down the middle, the size of your gouge, the size of the bar of your gouge, and protrude it about 2 inches, and then that fits on your, let's pull this away from the wheel. Then you alter the angle of your tool rest to whatever you want, and then you run it through. 1 turn, 2 and 3. So you're getting even facets, and you get your 3-point tool done. So that was something else I've been working on. Only little things on their own, but they all take time. Not a turning video, I'm afraid. I hope somebody found some interest, mainly the beginners. The old timers have done all these things before. And basically just to let you know that I'm still here. Again, thanks to my subscribers and for sticking with me. Hopefully my next offering will be a turning video when I get the time to come out here and actually do one. But rest assured, I'm as eager to do it as anybody. So thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers now, and see you soon.